Welcome back to episode 10 of the Scruffy City Beat. This is the 10th episode of this iteration of this podcast. This is a podcast all about music stories in Knoxville. And this week is another episode of What's New with Knox Ooze. We're going to talk about some new music releases and some updates to venues around town, plus an interview with Scott West about his new book. All that's coming up on this episode, so cozy in and listen to this episode of the Scruffy City Beat. Welcome back to the Scruffy City Beat. We're doing something that we've done before and that you love. We're talking about everything new in town. Hi, Jared.
Hello.
Mr. Ooze. Welcome back to the studio.
Thank you, Jillian. I'm happy to be here.
I have a gift for you today for all of your abundant time. This is early in the morning for us music folk. So to thank you for your service, I have an ambiguous cake pop. Can you reach it? Meant to be a unicorn, but you let me know what your opinion is.
I think it's a cat with hair extensions.
Cat with hair extensions. What is a unicorn if not but a cat with hair extensions?
I don't think that's what the definition is, but, you know, I'm not a scientist.
Anyways.
Can I get the paper thing?
Yeah.
We should eat it right now.
You could.
I could.
Live eat unicorn pig. Hey, so people at home, if they haven't heard of you before, what do you do here in Knoxville?
I run a little music website thingy where it's kind of a glorified calendar, and occasionally we do other fun little things, but try to keep up with what's going on, inform people about live music and events, and also just other fun stuff that you can do.
Fun stuff.
And, you know, it's pretty fun. It's a little labor of love. There's not any money in it.
Yeah. It's called Knox Ooze for people at home who are maybe interested, and it is the way to find what music shows to go to. And it was tied for the most useful, popular social media platform in Knoxville. So low key content creator in front of me.
Yeah, I try not to dwell on my successes. I try to just continue moving on.
I'm dwelling on your successes, and they are abundant.
But you can find me on there's a website, there's an Instagram, there's a TikTok. There's a Facebook.
All the things. You're on every platform, which is part of my work.
That's it.
Almost. Okay, well. And Reddit. You post them on Reddit, too.
That's true, yeah.
I find you on Reddit occasionally. We bump into each other.
Try to help inform people of stuff.
Speaking of that, we're going to do something in this episode we've done before. We're going to show you some new music by local artists. Love that. Wouldn't you like to add some local music into your listening rotation when you're driving? Also, these artists, if you love their songs, you can go find shows that they're playing in town. Doesn't that sound great?
Yeah, it sounds great.
Here's the thing. We no longer can play any music on this podcast.
We
cannot play any music.
The lawyers.
You know, just how it goes. There's baby cop. I don't know. We have gotten permission from every artist we've ever played a song from, but just in an abundance of caution in the corporate machine, we are no longer going to play music. So, Daniel, you want to say something?
I'm just saying, I really hope that this is a temporary measure and that we find
we'll see.
a way to navigate this so we can actually play music
Yes.
on here that we've gotten permission to play.
We'll see. So I love showing new music that you can add to your listening. So I still want to do it. So what we're gonna try this time is Jared and I are going to listen to the song and try our best to tell you about it, to compel you to go pull it up on your phone to listen to it. So that's what we're gonna do. We have picked 5 songs, new songs by local artists. I'm looking at the Knox Music Coalition's monthly mixtape. And here's the thing. This time around, there are over 12 new songs. Some are like repeats or are from actually like the last time we did this episode about a month and a half ago. There's so many new songs. So I selected artists that you've not heard of. Some of these artists we've talked about before or played music from. And for now, I'm going to go past those. I'm assuming you've listened to some episodes before. But we will talk about all of these people on here at some point on this podcast. But I'm going to bring you 5 people that we have not talked about before. So, are you ready, Jared?
I'm ready.
Are you ready to
I'm
listen
ready.
to
I
some
keep
new
saying
music?
at the cake pop. I'm listening.
Ignore the cake pop. Lock in, and we're going to listen to some music across genres. We picked across genres as much as we could, even though you can't hear it. We're going to describe things across genres. So our first song is by an ambient musician named Allison Swafford, and we're going to listen, and y'all are going to wait for like 3 seconds, and then we're going to tell you what it sounds like. Okay, let's do it. All right, Jared, how do you feel after listening to that? Tell me what your body's experiencing.
Chill. I'm pretty. I might just take it like kind of like a meditative sort of nap kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like super chill, but then makes me also feel like I could take a bite out of the universe at the end of it. Gets pretty power inducing.
Yeah, it feels a lot like kind of like a movie score almost.
Very movie score-ish. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Ambient shows are interesting. They transport you. If you
Yeah.
really listen to that at full volume, that'll transport you.
oh yeah, and well, it's pretty fascinating too because like I said, like you could, kind of picture in your head like movie scenes where this would fit in and whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
So
I was
creativity,
I was in different landscapes as that was playing.
pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that was very cool. Well, go find it on Spotify if you want to feel transported.
Yeah, and she's got a lot of shows coming up too.
Yes, she does. I feel like I've seen a lot of show announcements from Allison.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She does a lot of the out series improvisations at the Pilot too. She'll do those every now and then.
That's a Monday night free improvisational series where people are just trying things on stage and you can walk in completely for free on Mondays. Would highly recommend going and stretching your brain a little bit in that direction.
Oh, it's fun.
Well, let's go into this next artist. Totally changing directions, and we're gonna listen to a country influenced artist. I'd say she falls a little bit into like Americana or singer songwriter. Was it good? Was it Cakepop good?
Your delicious brains.
Okay. Back on topic. We're gonna listen to a song from Holly B. Called "Ain't Got Nothing." Yeah, that feels like a driving song to me. That feels like if you've ever been in love and been driving while in love before, that's what that feels like. Have you ever been in love while driving, Jared?
I mean, yes, I guess so. I've never really thought of putting the two and two together.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very contemplative song. It's about, or just deciding that and I'm gonna not make sad stuff and look forward to the future and stuff.
Yeah, there's a line in there that says I'm not writing sad songs ever again, or something like that.
We'll see about that.
Prove it, Holly.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's a beautiful song though. That's a very good love song.
Yeah.
So the sounds are, we heard fiddle, we heard, I can't tell if that sound was a cello or a pedal steel, and I should know that. I should be able to distinguish that sound, but the sound lingered too long for it to be a pedal steel for me. I don't know.
I don't know.
Tell me.
Could be,
But
like I said, it could be a saw.
it could be a saw. I heard a lot of those country instrumentations in there, but it still has some of that girl pop sound to it. So it's a great fusion.
There might be some pictures of the recording session.
Maybe
We can go deep dive on her
we can
social
dig
media.
it. We'll do that later. We'll go dig and find what instruments
This
because I need to.
video is of the song that we were just listening to, and
Look at
she
that.
is standing in the rain. So
Standing in the rain.
That's
It's not like the song doesn't sound exuberant, but it's still very happy. It's like a different kind of
it was soothing.
soothing. It's soothing. Yeah. It's like almost lullabetic. Lullabetic.
Was that a word? That's awesome.
I just made it. You're
Lullabetic.
welcome.
It is now.
Okay, let's go to our next one here. This next song we're gonna listen to. I have never heard of this person before, and we pulled him up for a second, and man has hecka follows online, which who knows what that means. Good things probably. Okay, we are gonna listen to Brady Turner's song "Don't Wake Me Up." Don't.
It was very soulful, like R&B, soul.
R&B soul for sure.
You got powerful voice.
Super powerful voice. When he that first line, I'm like, oh. Usually there's a singer like that in Knoxville. I've heard of him before. I've seen him somewhere and been like,
Yeah, I can't even imagine having a voice like that. Like I don't.
can you imagine?
No, because I would sing it all the time. I would annoy everybody by.
Yeah.
Use your power for good.
I would.
Please,
I would
Brady
take, I would
Turner,
totally.
use your power for good.
Yeah, I would take advantage of that.
To have an engine like that just sitting inside of you. I mean, this song is like so this song's it's like love, but like when you're in love and you've also had your heart torn apart too many times, and you're like, this is great, but it could end at any moment.
Gone back to. Love lost.
Love lost. Yeah, that was lovely. I super enjoyed that. Like I will be playing that really loudly and just like ascending at some point. If you like soul or R&B, I'm amazed that he's in town.
Yeah,
that's some crazy talent in his vocal cords.
Yeah, he hasn't played in a minute. Hopefully he'll get back on doing some shows.
Brady Turner, where you at?
Yeah,
He's dropping music.
Hey,
Played
he's probably been busy in the studio.
He's probably been in the stew.
You're probably right.
Probably been in the stew. I'm ready to see him in the street though.
Yeah,
at a show.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go on to the next song. The fourth song is country. Just straight up country, which we really haven't even done. Just like some good old, not to be rude, but bro country. Hudson McReady has a new release that I looked at the name of before I started talking. Looks That Follow by Hudson McReady. Mac Ready. Let's listen to it.
Oh, Hudson McReady. See?
All right, I have two corrections to issue.
Good
One,
Irish name.
His name is probably pronounced Hudson McReady.
McCready.
McCready? Oh,
Hudson McCready.
golly.
Oh, you're right, husband McCready. You're
English
probably right.
is hard.
Oh, Hudson McCready. He's a good Irish name.
Okay, the song, anyways.
Oh yeah.
I also am gonna negate that it's bro country. You're right. That's not bro country. That's like gentleman's country. It's
not enough
bro-ish.
short shorts. Not enough tractors.
Not enough skankiness. That was actually lovely.
Old hound. Yeah, it was actually a very sweet song.
That was a very sweet song about a girl being lovely and a gentleman who wants to woo her and be ready for her. I love that in country music. We're so good at that.
I mean, we've had such a whirlwind of different aspects of love. It's like a love.
We got to quit writing about love. We got to quit being in love,
Mm-hmm.
experiencing love,
Yep.
all of it, off the table.
Get rid of the emotions.
Enough art about love.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Obviously.
Imagine how boring life would be. Like, well.
That's a great song. I can see that. I can see that playing in the Cotton Eye Joe while we're all in our feelings dancing. That was lovely.
Cotton Eye Joe.
If he's playing coming up, get your butt out there because that was a lovely listen.
Mm-hmm.
And also just like we've had so many artists like this, not so many, but we've had some artists like this really make it. Obviously, the Morgan Wallen of it all, but there's this kind of country is right on the money of what people are craving. So it's exciting to see somebody doing it and doing it well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good for him.
Good for him. Okay, last song. We are going into some different territory. We're going to listen to Presley Smith, an indie rock artist. This song is called Evergreen Girl. What do we think?
Oh, it's interesting. It's like very like almost like kind of 60s psychedelic. Like
Yeah,
I remind me a lot of the band Klaatu, which is like sort of like a Canadian band from the 70s that is very obscure, but it's very unique and it's a very different sound than we normally hear. Around here.
I enjoy
very
that.
Cool, very creative.
That's going to be playing in some really cool like grungy venue, and you're going to be like lost in the sauce of sound.
Mm-hmm.
That's a cool sound. My favorite part, I think, is the cowbell in the background. The entire song, it's like just subtle enough that you wouldn't notice it or be like, "Wait, is that like why is there?" Like it's just subtle enough.
Yeah.
That it blends in, but I like it. It feels like a nod to the audience. Just like one.
I mean, it may be a good tongue-in-cheek kind of thing because there's a lot of like Blue Oyster Cult kind of sound in it, which the famous Saturday Night Live skit with the cowbell. Which I'm sure. Oh my god!
Describe it to me.
Not seen Rankin and Bass, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. You never seen the Need More Cowbell sketch?
I'm sorry.
I mean, maybe we're just old.
I was born later than you were.
Yeah,
back off camera.
We just may be old. But
maybe, but I feel like people are gonna get the cowbell reference.
Eek.
Yeah.
Well, Presley Smith described themselves as unconventional pop, and looking at some of the pictures on their page, I would say unconventional is the word to use. So that's your thing. But this is the kind of artist that seems like they're going to be playing like the Commune in Knoxville, definitely like Pilot Light.
Oh yeah.
So those like really cool venues.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and they looking on their page, they have a CD that just came out that is in Lost and Found Records called what's it called? What is that called? Creature Comforts. Creature Comforts. So look at that wacky cover art. Listen, I miss wacky cover art. I was looking at some vinyl records the other day, and there was one that was just hand-drawn shenanigans all over and like weird colors and weird places, like this, like where it's you're like it's like collage style artwork. I miss that in the modern age of digital art and of course AI art and whatever.
The world doesn't have enough whimsy.
It sure does not. And this is one surely whimsical person, Presley Smith. That's all 5 songs. Hey, remember, there are a lot more songs on that playlist, including from artists that we have told you about before. Serena has a new song on there. Jay Bush has a new song on there. There are many others. Tinka Tinka has a song on there who we will have on this podcast, surely enough, because Tinka Tinka is a very involved, lovely human. And there's more. There are more songs on there. So go on that playlist if you are interested in listening. You should be interested in listening to music by local artists, because you can actually go look at them and meet them and talk to them. So we're going to take a little break and come right back with some more updates on new things happening around town. Bye, Jared. Welcome back. I have a new person in the chair that you've not met before, but you need to. Scott West. Hi, Scott West.
Hello. Nice
If
to have you. Nice
people
to be
don't
here.
know your name, they know your stuff. What's your stuff around town?
Well, we're fairly notorious for crime, but outside of that, we have a lot of bars and venues on Market Square, which is what we're most known for. Preservation Pub, Scruffy City Hall, Tommy Trent's Sports Saloon, Alice in Appalachia, Earth to Old City, which is a retail store, C Scruffy City, which is a retail store. So a whole lot of businesses. And there was a time when I thought I was a genius of business, and I counted up the number of businesses that we'd opened, because 4 out of 5 businesses fail in the first 5 years.
Oh, really?
And it turned out that 4 out of 5 of our businesses failed in the first 5 years. So there
there's
was
still
nothing
6 of them?
special. We just had basically it's the Rocky thing. You got to get up one more time, then you get knocked down. That's the key. You just got to keep getting up, and you'll succeed.
And you have more businesses you are still starting, which we will talk about. There's a couple things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about those new businesses at the end, places for people to eventually check out once they open, likely to be soon this year. We're also going to talk about a book that you have released, that you've been working on for a long time. So you started working on it in jail way back. But first, I just want to give a little more intro for people who've never heard of you, because they need to know your name. There's going to be a future episode where we really break down the whole development that you brought to downtown Knoxville. That's going to happen. But for just this short little intro in this moment, I have a package I want to play from 8 years ago that WBR did. This is 8 years ago, Scott West, whatever age that is, talking about your businesses in downtown Knoxville. So let's watch that first.
Sounds good.
When you said that just now, I had a flashback of nostalgia.
Scott West never stops having a vision for his buildings.
In 2000, we came up here and Market Square was tumbleweeds.
From tumbleweeds to a sprawling success, West has been a part of all of it.
And we acquired 6 buildings. And this is before sundown in the city and all the money, the garages, the Regal Cinemas, before any of that.
Now, the nostalgia's real. He's adding 2 new bars to the section of buildings he already owns. One is Bernadette's, named after West's wife. It's going in right next to the already successful Preservation Pub.
It's going to be Bernadette's Crystal Bar Rooms. It'll be connected to Preservation Pub on every level. So thousands of pounds of crystals on each floor. Quartz, second floor is amethyst, third floor is going to be the Citrine Chapel.
At the same time, West is planning a sports bar called Tommy Trent's, named after his wife's father.
If I can show the Badminton World Cup and people will come and drink beer and watch it, you can bet I want to show the Badminton World Cup.
Tommy Trent's will be located where Market House Cafe used to be. That cafe will be combined with Uncorked, which will expand menu items, all part of West's plan to make Market Square a diverse destination.
What we're trying to do here, it's like an ultimate bar hop. What we're creating here, it's not just bars, of course there's restaurants and retail, but we're trying to create this space where if you wanted to go out on a Friday night, you would just say, let's go to Market Square and then we'll decide.
That's true.
That's happened, yeah.
That has happened. Wow, that's cool. Because I've heard you lay out dreams before, and they sound wild. Yeah. And your dreams sound wild, but that is actually what happened. Yeah. You did, in fact, open a bar that's connected on every level that is filled with crystals.
I remember in the 1990s, we went in front of the city council talking about Market Square, which was all boarded up and tumbleweeds at the time, and said, in the future, there's going to be ice skating rinks and farmers markets, and there's going to be twinkly lights all over the head and everything. And they called me Pollyanna because I was so positive and so optimistic that it was insanely so. But then, of course, everything I said and then some exponentially more
that has actually happened. If your bars are where I would go, let's go hit Market Square. Are they the only ones? The only bars to hit are your bars?
Well, there are other places as well, but I think we're more of the bar hop, and then there are some other venues that you can drink that are more restaurant oriented.
Yeah, there are restaurants, sure. But you're the person who does live music. You are the only venue that does live music every single night of the week, and that is incredibly special and important.
Yeah, I did the math on that one time because somebody said something about, we didn't do much for. It was. I take insults. I shouldn't, but I immediately start. I fixate on them when someone says something like that. And so I counted it up, and we have open mic comedy, which is probably 15 people a week, performing on open mic comedy. You have open mic songwriter night, which we've had for decades, which about 15 people perform every week on that. Then you have live music every night in Preservation Pub. On the weekends, you'll have more than one band. Every Friday and Saturday night in Scruffy City Hall, you have a live band. On Thursday, we do live band karaoke. Luniverse has DJs on Friday and Saturday night. Bernadette's has DJs on Friday and Saturday night. It's thousands of bands or DJs per year.
It's crazy.
So it's what's key about that, what's critical, and a long time ago I realized that when I was in a band, we were in a band called Boy Genius before the cartoon Boy Genius, Jimmy Neutron, but long before the girl band Boy Genius. But we got signed on a major label called Warner Brothers, which had a division called Tommy Boy Records. But it was back at that time when I realized that bands only practice when they have a show or they're going to record. So by us having these venues, a band has a reason to practice. So bands are created because we provide venues for them to perform in. So I think it's very important to a music scene to have
Super
somewhere to play.
important. Yep. Well, thanks for doing it.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about some of the new things you're doing that people can consume, because this episode is all about what's new. Okay. We're going to go way back into your story on a later iteration, and I'm really excited to do that. There were so many packages in our archives about you to dig into. But I want to talk about this thing sitting in front of you. You wrote a book.
I did.
Your first book?
Well, it's not my first book, but I like to think of it as my first book because I like this one better than the other 5. But this was a Smoke Rooms, which I've spent the last 20 years writing. But in 2006, it was the biggest DEA case in Tennessee of the year. It's the biggest news story in Knoxville of the year. My wife and myself and a whole lot of our friends and family got busted, and it was a big marijuana conspiracy.
The biggest in Tennessee?
It was huge.
Wow.
It's been a while to remember the exact details of the numbers, but it was $2.1 million cash that we infused into the buildings on Market Square when no bank would loan us money, and we were creatively financing the revitalization of Market Square using marijuana profits.
And can you tell me about how you wrote that story into this? Because this is a fiction novel.
Yeah.
No, this is a fiction crime novel. But can you tell me about how you chose to translate that into fiction here?
Well, I started off. I thought that it would be easier to write a fictional novel than to write an autobiography. Plus, I'm going to make a lot fewer people angry if it's fiction.
Sure.
Because you can say, well, no, I'm not talking about you. That's a fictional character.
Yeah.
But if you read the book, essentially there's a lot of reality that things actually have happened in my life, but to protect the guilty and also to keep people from being angry at me, and also so that life is messy and cluttered, but books are clean and organized.
Sure.
So it's necessary to simplify life from the mess it is into something meaningful and coherent, so there's an arc to the characters and a destination for the reader.
Yeah.
So that turned out to be much harder to turn reality into fiction. I could have made up a story a lot easier than trying to convert what I knew to be real to fiction, because the things that people think are fiction in this book are probably real, and the things that they think are real are probably the fiction parts.
Oh,
that's how crazy this book is.
Fascinating. Do you want to read me a little bit of the intro to kind of
Well, I actually have
set the
not
scene?
read anyone this book yet out loud. So
Oh,
let me see.
hey.
What
all
I'll do
of
then,
you are the
because
first
I haven't
ones.
read it out loud, I'm just going to read the first thing that pops up, which is the prologue.
Read it.
So,
And can you say which character is you?
yeah. The character Huck, who is always the smartest and dumbest person I've ever met, is my brother. So Huck is him. So think of Mark Twain. You got Huck and Tommy, right? Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn. So I was kind of playing with those names a little bit. But Tommy is based on me, and Clementine is based on Bernadette, and Penelope is based on her sister. My dad said, "Why is the character that's based on me named Jimmy when my name's Jimmy?" And I said, No. Your name is Jim or James. This character's name is Jimmy.
Very different.
Very different.
Super
Last name's West, but that's just, that's that means nothing. Don't worry about it. So the characters are obviously, and I never call Knoxville. I call it Scruffy City throughout the entire book. That's one of the things when I was in prison. I'm like, when I get out of prison, I'm gonna make Scruffy City ubiquitous for Knoxville, just like the Big Apple is for New York or the Windy City or whatever. And people are going to say, he didn't come up with that. I didn't come up with it. It's historic. But I did
You did popularize
trademark it.
Did you trademark it?
Yeah, to protect it, not from locals using it. I trademarked it to protect corporations or big business from stealing it from me. So essentially, I've spent all the years since prison building up Keep Knoxville Scruffy, which doesn't mean Scruffy in the sense it's kind of like moonshine isn't really illegal anymore. They pay taxes on moonshine, so it's not really moonshine. Scruffy, when I use the word Scruffy City, I don't mean dirty and unkempt. I mean support local stuff. That's what I mean when I say Scruffy. So Scruffy City to me just means support Knoxville. So anyway, the book is set in Scruffy City, and the characters are, I've known a lot of, in that world, needless to say, in the world of marijuana smuggling, there are a lot of crazy people that you meet. And so I was loose with the story, but the characters are based on real people.
Yeah. Well, hit me with that prologue.
Okay, the prologue is
First
not really.
reading, first
You're not
public
really
reading.
meeting Wolfman or any of those kind of characters here, or Fort Fritz. Crazy old German moonshiner. You're not meeting those characters here.
Okay.
But this is it's kind of you go from the future, and then you're going to go back to when they're kids from this point.
Okay.
But this is the prologue. That's 10 years after what comes in the first chapter. So this is the prologue. It was at that critical moment Huck noticed the blue lights as a state trooper pulled up behind them. "Don't stop," Huck said to his injured brother. "I'm on it. Keep them talking," Tommy said breathlessly, looking at Huck with one green and one glowing red eye, teeth now crimson from both nose and lip bleeding into his mouth. But the last lug nut had broken free and was loosening. Huck tried to nonchalantly wipe the sweat from his face as he turned and walked into the bright lights of the trooper's cruiser, parked just behind their fragrant Volkswagen van, filled to overflowing with 1,000 pounds of Acapulco gold. "Good evening, officer," Huck said into the headlights, showing his empty hands as he walked towards the driver's side of the cruiser. So that's a little short intro, but
Is that an excerpt from the book?
Yeah.
Okay. That's probably the climactic moment.
Well, there's
Near
lots of climactic moments, but that was one I thought might pull people in. Like then the next moment is the first chapter. Now they're 8 years old, and it says Tommy West laughed in the back seat of the careening '66 Dodge Coronet as he watched his father blow smoke rings into the rear view. Squashed but still giggling against his wide-eyed brother Huck, Tommy slid through another back road curve in the dry county of Cherokee, Tennessee. Jimmy West's cigarette perched defiantly on his lower lip through each controlled slide, glowing ember orange as they skidded sideways and back again to shoot once more into the barrel of a straightaway. Wow. So that's when they're running moonshine as kids with their dad. Oh. So you go from the moment where there's smuggling marijuana, and then you go back in time to you kind of see where they got
smuggling
it from.
Gold.
Yeah.
They're smuggling gold, weren't they? Not marijuana. Well, if people are interested in reading this and getting to know your life story through fiction, where can they find this book? Where can they go buy it?
Well, of course, I've got it in Earth to Old City, which is our retail store that we've had since 1990-ish. So 36, 37 years we've had that store. My mom and my sister and my niece are the ones working there. When you go in, you can say hi for me. But we also have it in Tommy Trent's Sports Saloon, which is named after Bernadette's dad. It's probably at the other bars, too. I just haven't checked, but I'm sure they put it behind the bars. And Amazon, of course, Amazon.com. You can get the ebook or the physical 6x9-inch trade paperback is another way of getting it. So physically, you can go to Market Square, or if you want it shipped to your house, you can go to Amazon.
Yeah, well, that's great. And I want to talk about any other updates you have on stuff you're doing, because I know you're never done, and there's always something you're working on. And this episode is all about what's new, and you did announce a new venue, and I'm curious to know what's going on with that new venue, where it's at.
Well, there's multiple places reopening or opening. We're reopening Luniverse Knoxville, which is at 940 Blackstock.
When was that closed?
I closed it for summertime when the students were gone.
Oh, sure, just summer.
So
yeah,
then
okay.
reopen it for Friday, Saturday nights, going back into the fall semester.
When does that start? September, probably?
No, August 21st.
Okay.
I guess that's next week, right?
Yeah, next week.
So that'll be reopening. Then we have Alice in Appalachia. We had to move from Market Square to Gay Street.
Yeah.
And so that's got the retail store's open, but we're reopening the bar and brunch area in the back of the place, that's happening probably next couple of weeks.
Wow, quick. That move started like a month ago.
To me, it seems like forever. It's been eternity trying to get it open.
Yeah.
So bureaucracy drives me crazy. And then you're referring to in South Knoxville, which is where I live, is in South Knoxville, Sevier Avenue, which we looked at 15 years ago plus. The city showed it to us, and I remember saying, we pioneered the old city, we pioneered Market Square. I'm not going to pioneer any more neighborhoods. It takes 10 years to do that, and I don't have that much life left. And then, of course, we did Luniverse after I said that. But now I realize that someone else or else's have already done that 10 years for me. So 15 years later, we had the opportunity to acquire Everything Mushrooms, which is a very large warehouse, which is 10,000 square feet plus 10,000 square feet outside.
It's huge. Yeah.
And there's going to be a rails to trails kind of pathway right behind it, which I think will be just as busy as the Sevier Avenue in front of it.
Yeah.
I think of it as the River District myself.
It is kind of a river district.
Yeah, because, when you go to Asheville, the River District, I think it should be the River District, not Sevier Avenue myself. But I just think that has a lot more, it's much more evocative.
It's enticing, yeah. That's an enticing name.
So it's it's by the river there. And we'll have that. We're Bernadette's been talking to the city about trying to get the outdoor portion open first because you don't have to do construction. And so we're trying to get that open ASAP. But everything takes longer than I think. So, 2 months could be.
2 months or more.
Very soon, I hope.
And you're still calling that buffleheads?
Yeah, buffleheads, which is the type of duck, which is very iridescent green, purple head, beautiful duck. And so one of the things we'll probably do is put, baby ducks,
baby ducks.
They used to have the duck race in the river in Knoxville. We'll probably have those kind of ducks everywhere.
And that's going to be a family-friendly.
Yeah, family-friendly. Lots of games. There'll be, the reason buffleheads, I guess I should have explained this. Duck pin bowling was a form of bowling before the kind with the 3 holes in the ball, which you don't have to have shoes and you don't have to have a ball that fits your fingers. The ball doesn't have holes; it's a smaller ball, and then you get three rolls to get the 10 pins. But we're gonna have duck pin bowling, so. Duck pin bowling, buffleheads is a duck, and it's near the river, right? So that's why I like the idea of the River District also.
Ducks
and then
sense.
Lots and lots of games besides that. So I'll probably have claw machines where you can grab ducks and stuff, and one of them will be worth $500 or something. And then we'll have like water going around the whole bar where you can put your duck in to race ducks anytime you want.
Oh, I can't wait.
So yeah, stuff like that. It'll be indoor, outdoor, shuffleboard, you name it. Outdoor ping pong. I'll have all kinds of fun games to play. So yeah, that's
gonna be great for that strip with all those residentials nearby and the rails for trails, and it's gonna be perfect.
Yep.
Well, those are all very exciting developments, and we will be paying attention as you make moves on those things. Thanks for doing it.
Well, thanks. Thanks for having me very much.
We'll take a quick break and be right back. Welcome back. We have one more thing to do before you guys get out of here, and that is to talk about new updates to things happening around town and things you can put on your calendar to go to coming up, because that is kind of what this podcast is all about, is making you go to things that are really cool. So Jared's back. Welcome back.
Hi.
Post cake pop, Jared. How you feeling?
I feel good. I'm so hungry, but
did it help?
It definitely helped. It helped. Okay. A little pop of food.
You ate a pretty cat. Cat with pretty hair.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about some new scoops that you've gotten in the recent history, and then talk about events coming up. So let's talk scoops first. There's no crazy updates on like major venue announcements, but what are some little things that have popped into your radar in all of your endless sleuthing that you can tell us about?
Oh, I wouldn't call it sleuthing, but in the
sleuthing as in paying attention.
The most recent beer board meeting, there were a couple interesting things. First one is, I didn't know about this place till recently, but apparently there's a new lounge in the spot that was the well and then the red piano in Bearden. A little downstairs thing called Lola's Cocktail Lounge, and they were there getting their beer permit.
What else is that near? I don't know about those other
Bearden
places.
Beer Market. I think there's like a abandoned gas station across the street. Ice Chalet.
Okay. It's a little bit out. Lola's, a lounge. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What else you got?
Country Roads was there getting their permit, and
Country Roads is a honky-tonk venue coming to Old City that doesn't have an opening date yet, but that's exciting.
Mm-hmm. And
they're permitting.
Another one that was there was 808 Knox, which is sort of a EDM, all kinds of other stuff. They're gonna do any kind of shows, and they have a good size. They were there getting their stuff, and mentioned in that there was going to they needed to be open by October, or they planned to be open by October 1st for their
shows they have booked and stuff. Yeah.
So this is pretty exciting. And I've driven by there, and they've got a bunch of stuff going on.
Oh, cool.
You know, they're building out.
Yay. That's going to be a huge one when it opens.
Yeah.
To have a home for the EDM scene. I mean, after the Concourse is closed and the International is closed and all those other places, there's not an EDM home.
And bigger than that too. They're also going to host a lot of like rock and metal and hard, all these kinds of shows that are tougher to find venues for.
Yeah, I think they're probably similar in size to Mill and Mine, I'm guessing. Is that probably true?
No, much smaller.
Smaller, okay.
But I go to like medium, bigger than like, Barley's or Scruffy City Hall. Yeah. Probably, yeah.
Maybe we don't have too many mid-size.
We
Above
don't,
Barley's, but below Mill and Mine.
We don't, which is a major issue with why we miss a lot of shows here. It's just because we don't really have many places that can fit that middle ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's also the whole thing with like some venues have like radius stuff, so you can't play like within 200 miles, and we have Asheville and Nashville, and we're in the middle of that. So there's some shows that we miss because they're within the radius.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be a really exciting development to South Knoxville. It's becoming a really cool strip. It already is, but it's getting a lot cooler. South Strip. Let's talk about some events coming up. We're getting out of the summer season into the fall where events are picking back up. What are some of the big ones people can be jotting down on their calendars as options to attend? I know there's one really big one coming soon.
Well, this weekend we have the East Tennessee History Fair. Put on by the East Tennessee Historical Society.
For some old time jams, probably some folk music.
Yep, they got an outdoor stage at Crouch Park. They've got a bunch of the Tennessee Theater.
They're shutting down Gay Street, so prepare yourself.
And there's gonna be some history stuff at the History Center. It's gonna be really fun.
Sounds a great time.
A lot of cool variety of music and things, and that's gonna be really fun.
Yeah.
And then as we go into the month, there's a couple of pretty fun, sort of like themed festival things. There's
culture festivals.
Culture festivals. We've got German Fest, which will be
Deutschfest.
on the 22nd.
Polka music, I'm assuming. There's probably a lot of polka.
Yeah. And the Greek Festival.
What is Greek music?
I don't know. I've never been, but they have that stuff too.
Greek Fest is a big one though. A huge the food and dancing.
That's in September, but I was wrong. But
Greek food is great.
Super good.
Yeah, Greek Fest is a fun one.
Is that the one that's at what church is that?
It's the Greek Orthodox Church off the
that's a great
church
festival.
alley on Kingston Pike going towards Bearden.
So German Fest, Greek Fest.
And then the Asian Festival at the end of the month at Marble World's Fair Park. And then
dance performances probably there.
Oh yeah, tons of music and cool stuff. And then we have Sunset on Central.
Sunset on Central,
which is coming up.
That's like for people who don't know and are just now tuning into music culture. That's like the locals' important music festival. That's a big one.
Oh yeah, and with a complete wide variety of music, and it's mostly all local, regional. There's some traveling stuff like the headliner Mooney traveling in, but
and at multiple stages, artists throughout the day.
Yeah,
kind of festival vibe.
Interesting. Yeah, because the stages are different venues. So you have let's see if they have the list on here, but it starts at Yeehaw. The big Yeehaw stage is the first one. I don't think they've announced it. Yeah, Yeehaw, Schultzbrow, Corner Lounge, Next Level,
and
and
Central. Oh my gosh, that's gonna be fun.
And the Central Filling Station will have some stuff going on there.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time. It's free. It's free. And a lot of those names are people that, whether you remember it or not, we've mentioned on this podcast before. A lot of these locals who are putting out new music and building careers. Yeah, that's going to be a great time. Are there any other big festivals on your radar? Or is that it? For now.
For now, that's what I got right now.
For now, that's it.
I'm sure I missed something.
We'll check in again. There'll be a lot more things going into the fall, so things are about to pick back up. Thank you for giving us the scoop, Lord Ooze.
I did the best I could.
I know you do.
Yeah, I'm looking. Crumb Snatchers is one of the sub-headliners. I used to see them all the time at like Press Pub at like they'd play like starting at like midnight and play till like 3. It was insane in there always. Like
man, fun.
Well, yeah.
Jared, thanks for coming in and giving us the scoop on everything new happening as always.
Thanks for having me, and I'll try not to mess up your outro again.
This is the second take. You don't want to know what happened on the first take.
I think you should keep them both in.
No. All right, we'll be right back. Thank you so much for listening. I highly recommend that you go find that Knox Music Coalition playlist and listen through some of those new releases by local artists. It just feels good to like something that's local. A big thanks to the people that helped make this episode possible. Daniel, the magic producer over there, spinning all the buttons. And the music you're listening to is by Will Carter. We'll be back in another 2 weeks with another story about Knoxville's music scene. In the meantime, I leave you with this call to action. I'm just a girl sitting behind a microphone, begging you to go see a live music show. Thanks for listening.
The men come down.